7 years of silence. Then suddenly, in January 2025, the machines roared back to life. Saudi Arabia's most ambitious project, a building that will pierce 1 kilometer into the sky, is racing against a deadline that could determine the kingdom's entire economic future. But there's a problem that threatens everything. This is the Jeddah Tower, and it was supposed to change everything. 3 times taller than the Eiffel Tower, destined to be the first structure on Earth to break the 1 kilometer barrier. Construction began in 2013 with incredible momentum. By 2017, they'd reached 63 floors. Then everything stopped. Not a pause, not a delay, a complete shutdown. The year 2018 brought chaos. Labor disputes erupted across the site. Payments to contractors vanished. Workers abandoned their posts. And then came the anti-corruption crackdown that sent shockwaves through Saudi Arabia's construction industry. The Saudi bin Laden Group, the project's main contractor, found itself at the center of a massive investigation. For 7 years, this giant concrete skeleton stood frozen in the desert, a monument to stalled ambition. Machines gathered dust. The tower's core remained unfinished at just 63 floors, less than half its intended height. Critics called it another Middle Eastern megaproject failure, but here's what nobody saw coming. The silence was about to end in the most spectacular way possible. January 2025 changed everything. Construction officially restarted with a vengeance. New contractors flooded the site. Advanced machinery arrived from around the world. The tower that had been pronounced dead was suddenly very much alive. Why now? Because Saudi Arabia is racing against the clock. Vision 2030, the kingdom's master plan to transform its economy away from oil dependency, has a hard deadline. This isn't just about building tall anymore. It's about proving that Saudi Arabia can execute the impossible. The Jeddah Tower isn't just a building, it's a symbol of whether the kingdom can reinvent itself before the oil runs out. The numbers are staggering. $26 billion, 100,000 people designed to live and work inside, 168 floors reaching toward the heavens. And the deadline, 2028. That's just 3 years to complete what many consider the most ambitious construction project in human history. Current progress? They're 76% complete, having pushed past their previous 63-floor mark. The construction pace is brutal, 4 days per floor, with crews working around the clock. But here's the twist that makes this race truly desperate. They're not just building up. They're building against global competition that's heating up fast. Building the world's tallest structure isn't just about stacking concrete higher. At 1 kilometer up, physics becomes your enemy. The foundation alone tells an incredible story. The ground beneath Jeddah Tower isn't solid rock. It's limestone, sand, and coral. Terrible conditions for supporting nearly 1 million tons of weight. So engineers drove 270 massive concrete piles 110 meters deep into the earth. That's longer than a football field, straight down. On top sits a concrete pad 5 meters thick, spreading across an area larger than a football field. Together, this foundation supports the equivalent of 150,000 elephants stacked on top of each other. But the real genius is in the shape. Unlike the Burj Khalifa's stepped design, Jeddah Tower rises with a Y-shaped base and smooth slopes. This isn't just aesthetics, it's survival. At 1 kilometer high, wind becomes a deadly force. The tower's desert flower shape lets wind glide around it instead of fighting against it. The elevator system is revolutionary. 59 elevators, including 5 double-deck monsters that rocket upward at over 10 meters per second. Passengers transfer at 3 sky lobbies placed at different heights. The cables? Carbon fiber, lighter and stronger than steel. And here's something that will blow your mind. The observation deck on the 157th floor will sit over 600 meters above ground, making it the highest viewing platform on Earth. But there's a dark secret about reaching those heights that engineers are still fighting to solve. The race isn't just about height, It's about survival. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 plan hinges on projects like this, proving the kingdom can transform itself. Miss the deadline and the world questions everything. The construction schedule is relentless. 4 days per floor sounds manageable until you realize they're building vertical cities. Each floor contains apartments, offices, mechanical systems, and infrastructure. It's like constructing a 40-story building every 5 months. Yet somehow, they're maintaining pace. The lower floors are concrete, but the upper 350 meters will be steel. Faster to build, but requiring precision that's never been attempted at these heights. The consequences of success or failure stretch far beyond one building. Success means Saudi Arabia proves it can execute the impossible. The Jeddah Economic City, a $20 billion development surrounding the tower, becomes reality. 100,000 people live and work in a vertical city that redefines urban planning. Tourism explodes. The observation deck alone could attract millions of visitors annually. The tower becomes a symbol of Saudi Arabia's transformation from oil kingdom to innovation powerhouse. But failure? The implications are devastating. $26 billion vanishes. Vision 2030, credibility crumbles. Other planned megaprojects face cancellation. Saudi Arabia's economic diversification stalls, leaving the kingdom vulnerable to oil price volatility. The global architectural community watches every move. Success pushes the boundaries of what's possible in construction. Failure reinforces the perception that Middle Eastern megaprojects are doomed to incompletion. There's also the human cost. Local real estate markets have already shifted based on the tower's expected completion. Thousands of jobs depend on the project. The psychological impact of another high-profile failure could damage national confidence just when the kingdom needs it most. The international stakes are equally high. Saudi Arabia is positioning itself as a global player beyond oil. The Jeddah Tower is proof of concept. Can they execute projects that rival anything built in Dubai, Singapore, or New York? Here's the payoff to that problem I mentioned at the beginning. The real challenge isn't engineering or money, it's time. Saudi Arabia has painted itself into a corner with the 2028 deadline. Every delay cascades into bigger problems. Every setback questions the kingdom's credibility. But momentum is building. The restart in January 2025 brought world-class contractors and cutting-edge technology. Progress is accelerating. The tower climbs higher each month, visible from dozens of kilometers away. If this story of ambition and engineering amazed you, smash that like button, share it with someone who loves incredible projects, and hit subscribe with the bell icon for more stories about humanity's boldest dreams.